Major funding for these programs is made possible by grants from Capital One Bank, New York Community Bank, Eastern Consolidated, M&T Bank, Customers Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Terra CRG, the Witkoff Group, Perfect Building Maintenance, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Commercial Mortgage Lending, Genova Burns. Additional support is made possible by AKA Hotels, Corman Communities, AmTrust Title, Ariel Property Advisors, AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Citizens Bank, Connect One Bank, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, CPEX Real Estate Services, Dime Savings Bank of Williamsburg, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Fisher Brothers, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Hendler Real Estate Organization, Hersha Hospitality, HAP, Investment Developers, Hodges Ward Elliott Inc., Investors Bank, iFunding, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Center at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Commerce Bank, New Banks, Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Pulcinelli, Rosewood Realty Services, SJP Properties, Sterling National Bank, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, The Continuum Company, the Knackle Group at Cushman & Wakefield, the Meringoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Group, and these friends.
Art school at 4? Going to museums? Piano? Nah, I like this thing called architecture. I'm going to build. I'm going to go around. I'm going to go to Cornell. I'm going to go to Switzerland. I'm going to go to New Mexico. I'm 28. I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to go out on my own and become one of the city's leading architects, and I'm going to also be responsible for the creation of close to 10% of the latest hotel rooms, or really 26% in the last 10 years. My guest is Gene Kaufman. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Michael.
So tell me about your grandparents and your parents.
My father's family came over about 1920 from what was then the Ukraine and Moldova area. And actually, both my grandfather and my grandmother were on the same boat, but they weren't together.
They weren't married?
I think they were on the boat, perhaps as a group that came over. And so they...
Where'd they settle?
So they settled in the Bronx, and they basically made the rest of their lives there. They got married a few years later, and then my father and the sister were born.
Now, what did your grandfather do in the Bronx?
He worked in a laundry and eventually ended up owning a small laundromat, but he was a working owner.
So he was in the Bronx. So tell me about Mom's side.
So my mother's father's family came over somewhat earlier, around the 1880s, and over the time actually did fairly well and owned a couple of men's hat shops, including one in the Woolworth building that my mother's father actually managed for a while. And he met my grandmother, who was a poor immigrant, came from Latvia, and 15, 16 years old when she came here. And when they got married, the family disapproved, and my grandfather was sort of nudged aside a little bit.
Told that he was no longer allowed to be in the hat business?
Well, I guess they didn't really want to see stuff being diverted off from the family. I don't know exactly what happened, but what eventually did happen is that when my great-grandmother passed away and she had the control of the family business, most of the children were cut out, including my grandfather. So he ended up being a tailor, and worked fairly hard.
So tell me about your parents. I know your father was in the military during the war.
Well, he was. He served at the very end of the war. He was a little too young. He first started at City College in the beginning of the war days, and then left college.
He was the first one in the family who went to college, I think you told me.
He was the first. There were a lot of cousins, and all of them worked from a very young age. My father, I think, had a job on the side of school from maybe the age of 8 or 9. But he was able to go to college at CUNY and City College, and he returned there after the war, finished his degree, he had on the GI Bill. He actually went to Columbia and got a master's in mechanical engineering.
And Mom?
My mom went to, she grew up in the Bronx, and she's very independent-minded, and even though it wasn't that common in her generation, she went to college, Queens College, and got a degree, and actually ended up eventually with 2 master's degrees and so on. And she was a school teacher in public schools in Queens.
Now, you said to me that Mom and Dad met because somebody was a ballroom dancer?
My father was a ballroom dancer, and he used to go on the weekends up to the mountains dancing, and that's how he met my mom, dancing. Apparently, he asked her if she could dance, and she said yes, meaning he invited her to dance. And they started dancing, and he said to her, "You can't dance. Actually, let's sit down and talk." And it turned out that was a good thing, because they talked for the rest of their lives.
So your parents were from the Bronx,
Yes.
as you were saying, and you were born in the Bronx.
I was born, but my parents moved. I was actually only 1 year old, so I have no personal recollection of that.
And then you moved to Queens.
They bought a house in Queens, and it was, again, the first among all of their relatives for somebody to own a house.
Now, where was the house?
The house was in Queens Village, at Hillside Avenue and 233rd Street. So it was a single-family house, small piece of land, but backyard for kids
Did you
to go out
ever
and
ask
play.
your dad why he became a mechanical engineer?
I asked him, and he asked himself many times, and I think he felt like if he had had a choice, he might have done something else. But at the time, there were very few opportunities for him, he felt, to be able to work, and the field of mechanical engineering was promising, and so they said, this is what you should do, and that's what he did. And he was a top student in math and science, so it made sense. He went to Stuyvesant. He was a star student. He started college, I think he was 16.
So let's talk about you. I was saying before, at a young age, you used to go to the museum.
I started going very young. I expressed an interest in art, and
And you spent Saturdays where?
I spent Saturdays from the ages of 6 to 11 every Saturday at the Museum of Modern Art. They had an art school then in the basement, several expansions ago, and before those. And so I used to go there in the mornings, and in the afternoons I used to go around the museum with my father. And I knew it like the back of my hand. I knew every painting, and I really absorbed a lot, and it was very influential.
Now, you also piano?
My wife's the pianist,
Right. But
my mother was a pianist as well. So I learned to play as a child.
That's what I remember. Right.
I was talentless, but I learned along with my 2 brothers and sister. And
When did you decide that you were going to be sketching, and maybe there was going to be something called architectural?
well, I think I started with those wooden building blocks they bought for kids, and I ended up taking all my brothers and sisters and really using them to the maximum.
The log cabins or the erector set?
No, they were just sort of simple wood blocks. And
Right, the little
yeah.
the triangles and the circles and all the rest.
And so I was building from a very young age, maybe almost from the beginning of being verbal, and but I started drawing architectural plans also very young, sort of unprompted. I have a collection of them still, and they go back to the time I'm 5 years old.
So talk to me about growing up in Queens. Where did you go to public school and then high school and junior high school?
I went to all of those in Queens, public school 18, junior high school 172, Martin Van Buren High School. I'm a product of the city school system. And it did very well by me, and I was a good student, and I was able to go on to Cornell and do well.
We'll get to the Cornell in a second. So how, when you were in high school, how did you decide? I think you said to me that when you were in high school, you went to Cornell for a summer program.
After my junior year of high school, because I had this interest in architecture, but it really was not an opportunity to study architecture per se. There's a 6-week summer program, like a lot of other summer programs people go to, but this was only in architecture. And I came away at the end of 6 weeks reinforcing my idea that this is what I wanted to do.
But there were plenty of architectural schools. I mean, how come you picked Cornell? Which is a great school, I mean.
There were 2 summer programs. One was Cornell and the other one was Harvard. And somehow or other, Harvard just seemed like too much of a jump at the time, so it was Cornell. Yeah.
So when do you graduate high school?
1976.
During your period of Cornell, you said to me that you did something in New Mexico?
I took a leave from college after 3 years. I needed to work and make some money, and I wanted to sort of enrich my experience and take a break from school. And I went out west with my portfolio in hand and figuring I would find something, and I did. And I got a job as the assistant to the state architect of New Mexico at the age of 21.
Now, how long did you stay? Was this a one-year job, or?
Yeah, it was just about a year.
So then you go back to Cornell?
Yes, I went back to school and I finished up my degree.
Now, when you were at Cornell, were you working for any architectural firms?
I had summer jobs in New York City, first for Darif Design, which became a very famous company, and then for another architecture firm that did housing. And so I gained a fair amount of practical experience as well.
Cornell was a 5-year program, correct?
5-year program.
And so you graduated what year?
1981.
So it's 1981. What happens?
The job prospects actually were not that good at that time, particularly in architecture. But I had a professor who was from Switzerland and had taught at Cornell and who liked me. And he invited me to come work for him in Switzerland. And that sounded exotic and fantastic. I had never traveled off of the continent.
How'd your parents think of that?
They thought it was a great opportunity. They were very supportive all the way through. And so off I went.
How long did you spend in Switzerland?
Well, the idea was he wanted me to stay for a summer, but we won a couple of competitions while I was there that I worked on, and I ended up staying for a year and a half.
And then you come back to New York, right?
I did.
And what happens then?
Well, my thought had been that I would sort of, again, maybe travel around the country, find a nice place to go, find the right job. But I actually, on the airplane flying back from Switzerland, I was reading a magazine, the Time magazine, and I see jobs prospects are pretty poor. So instead, I went around in New York City and I found a job and found an apartment, and I started my career working for other people, 1982.
Now, who was that person? I guess.
I worked for a firm also did a lot of housing called Wexler Grasso, Menziuso, and I learned a lot of practical skills in a very short period of time.
Then when do you work for Raphael?
1984, I worked for him for 2 years till 86.
So what type of projects was he doing at that time?
Raphael Vignoli had come to the States with a couple of interesting projects, but he wasn't that well known beyond those. And so at that point, he was trying to expand into doing more things. So I did a renovation of a 50,000 square foot building in Chinatown, and we renovated a row house for condominium apartments, and I worked on John Jay College. So there was sort of a range of things. The signature projects were just starting to come in at that time.
So you're 28 years of age, and then you decided that you're going to go out on your own. How did your parents express, the 28-year-old kid over here, the Queens kid, okay, that he was going to go out, put his shingle up, as they would say?
Well, they came from a generation that had gone through the Depression, and they were always concerned about if things didn't go well. And I think that influenced their own career choices, and they picked safe things. But like most parents, they had aspirations for their children to sort of take it one step further.
What was the inspiration that said, I want to work on my own as opposed to work for someone?
I think that inspiration predated the opportunity, and I think that it always been my ambition to be able to do something on my own independently.
So what was the opportunity?
So I got the chance to do a house in Queens through neighbors that I knew, and for a very nice couple. And it was a relatively modest house, but they wanted something interesting. And for a very modest fee, I got the opportunity, even with no experience, to work on it. And at the same time, also met another couple that wanted to renovate a house. So I had two house projects, and I started those when I was still working for Raphael Vignoli. And I quickly found out that it was not possible to do both. And I thought, here's my chance. Let me try this out. Even though I had a very good position and I very much liked working for Vignoli, I decided, let me start and see where this leads.
And what happens then?
So I thought I had enough work for a year, and that would give me a lot of time. But both clients were in a hurry. One of them was pregnant, and of course that clock can't be changed. So I had to hire two people to get the work done on time. And so it didn't last for a year. It lasted for only a few months, and I ran out of work.
So then the kid has limited work. You have to go out and get another project.
Well, fortunately, a friend referred me a project, which was sort of a very, almost like a paperwork kind of project. But I was going to get paid, and it would buy me a little bit more time. And it was a wise business decision in retrospect, because then I got to do a competition, private competition for a office space behind the clock. It's the Metropolitan Life building. It's a famous building. It's now a hotel converted by Ian Schrager. But at the time, it was the offices of Metropolitan Life, and they had vacated these floors because they thought they were unusable. They were too small. And the floor behind the clocks, the 26th floor, had four big clock gear rooms because that was the largest four-phase clock in the world, and very few windows. So a very enterprising young graphic design company rented the space, and then they asked a number of architects to put together their ideas as a competition. And we designed something that was based upon the theme of the clock, with this big visual image of the clock, and we sort of created this whole language and identity for this firm, a real branding kind of experience without it really meant to be that. And they loved it. And even though the other architects are more experienced, they picked us to do the project.
And after that, you said to me, you were fortunate that you worked on certain buildings on 55th Street.
We got to do a project on 55th Street, again by word of mouth, and to renovate a commercial row house for men's fashion showrooms. And we were working on the project, and I noticed the building next door to it was more or less unused. And it was a very similar footprint, and it was smaller than it could be. So pre-internet days, it was tough, but I chased down the information, found out who the owner was, and David Frankel lived in Florida. He was a doctor, but he owned real estate in New York. And I managed to convince him to let us renovate and expand that building. And he ended up giving us actually several others to do as well.
So business is moving okay, and then something happens in the lower Manhattan. What happens in the early 90s or the mid-90s?
So I was working on a vacant lot on Pearl Street in a landmark district, and the idea was to do housing. And my client that I had the project for, I had done a small project on 14th Street for also apartments. And he was working on this site, and he had the idea to build, but he got a very good offer, and he decided to sell the site. And of course, I was very disappointed because it looked like that was the end for me. But he said to me, I'm going to introduce you to the guy who's buying this site, and you're going to thank me because he's going to be your best client ever. And I thought, well...
Now, you had never done a hotel before, right? So you meet this guy by the name of Sam Chang, now who I had done his life, a very interesting individual who had come back to New York the third time after he had filed bankruptcy, and it was resurrecting a hotel business. So you meet Sam.
So I met Sam, and he saw that I was working on the site, and he gave me the chance to figure out what we could do there. And it was an irregular shaped site, and the issue for him was to get enough hotel rooms to make the project feasible. And so we were able to figure out a way to do that.
This was a Hampton Inn, correct?
This was a Hampton Inn, okay. And but when we first started on it, it was really just a puzzle about how do we fit all of these pieces into this envelope. And in part because in those days the flat screen TVs were just starting, we thought, okay, if we don't need to have the extra width in these rooms to accommodate the depth of what now seem these very huge TVs, somehow or other we're going to be able to get more rooms in here. And even though those TVs are very expensive in those days, the estimate when we started was it was going to cost $10,000 for each TV. And Sam presciently said, well, they won't cost that by the time we need to buy the TVs, and he was right. And so we ended up designing longer, more narrow rooms, and we managed to make the site work for him.
Now, but you also provided for him, as you said, to work the site, you were able to increase the number of rooms to like one additional per floor, correct?
Right. And so this made sense, and even though it was a relatively small building, one more room per floor made a lot of sense. And even today, one more room has a lot of value.
So what happens? I mean, as I stated at the beginning of the show, since you started with Sam, besides Sam, you've completed more than 10,000 rooms. I mean, we have 110,000 rooms in the inventory, and Gene Kaufman has completed at least 11,000, and you may have another 4,000 under coverage. How do you become the king of hotels?
Well, I think people who are in that industry, like every other, they look around to see what everybody's doing. And they saw that we were producing projects that made sense. If we were getting one more room per floor, and it was 5 or 6 floors, that's 5 or 6 rooms. But for taller buildings, it was even more. And so we figured out how to efficiently plan these rooms and to be able to get brands, the major brands, to accept a redesign of what their basic concept was. And once people saw that we were doing that, a whole range of opportunities opened up. There were a lot of properties that were zoned in a way that a hotel could be built, residential couldn't go there, and so there was a lot of opportunity for Sam and others.
Right, and a number of the projects that you've done for Sam, John Lamb, Hersha Hospitality, have been unique or very creative, especially what you did for Will Abide in the Jade a number of years ago. Let's talk about the Jade.
Well, that site was narrower. A lot of the typical sites are 50 feet wide, and there's sort of a formula we'd worked out for that. But Will's site was about 43 feet wide, and so we had to sort of invent a new way of fitting the rooms on the site. And we also figured out that if we took the lobby and sank it down a little bit below street level, we could even get an extra floor in. The zoning was a little bit different there. And once we figured that out, we got to an economic formula that worked.
But besides the economic formula, you know, the site, you made the building look like it was there before. It was like a renovation as opposed to a brand new hotel.
So once we had figured out the puzzle of getting the rooms, it opened up the possibility of adding more budget and care to the design of the outside. And so we designed a building that really fit into this Greenwich Village location by evoking a lot of the historical things. And when the building opened, one of the journalists covering it said to me, "This is a really nice renovation." And I was so pleased I didn't correct her that, in fact, it was a brand new building.
Now, some of the other projects that you work with Sam and others have been some of the tallest hotels in the city of New York, right?
Well, we did the tallest Holiday Inn in the world, which is a 50-story building with almost 500 rooms, 99 Washington Street.
Very few people realize that there are more hotel rooms in Times Square than in most places around. So you've been involved with a number of the properties on 39th and 40th Street.
There's one city block, 39th to 40th, 8th to 9th Avenue.
Between 8th and 9th, right?
Yeah,
but
between
close
8th
to
and
9th.
Yes, where we have 8 hotels. We're finishing a 600-room DoubleTree that'll be opening before the end of the year on the west end of that block.
Let's talk about what happens in 2009 that you decided, besides Gene Kaufman, you wanted to perhaps expand a different line of architectural work.
Well, during that financial crisis, everybody was reevaluating what to do and trying to find a path for business because all business opportunities had dried up. And people were trying to get projects in fields that they had no experience in. And I figured if I'm going to try to do something different than what I've been doing, to add to what I've been doing, I needed to find a firm that had that expertise and had that reputation. And I asked a couple people to help me find that, and they said, well, what kind of thing are you looking for? What kind of firm are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for a firm like Rothmay Siegel. And they said, well, that's impossible. That's not a firm that would be possible to do something with, even though one of the partners had passed away and the firm had changed.
What was their reputation?
Their reputation was as one of the leading design firms in the United States for modernism. They did a lot of institutional work, about 50 university buildings, museums. They did the United States mission to the United Nations, expansion of the Guggenheim. And they've done a lot of luxury residential, done a wide range of buildings. And these two people who were helping me in the search, well, said that we couldn't really try to do something like that, but we'll try to figure out something for you. And after a year, I just made a cold call to Bob Siegel, and we started talking.
And you acquired it. Now, today, besides the hotels, you're working on some properties in residential in Brooklyn, I believe?
We're doing a number of residential projects in Brooklyn, 80-20 with 20% affordable housing in a variety of Brooklyn neighborhoods.
Now, you also did work for the school authority, if I remember a couple.
We've done additions for 3 public schools, and we've done some university work as well. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about family. Your wife is a concert pianist.
She has a concert series at Carnegie Recital Hall. This will be the 2nd year for that, and she'll be performing one of the concerts, and it's all-women performance this year. And she has a CD out of Bartok's music, which is her specialty.
How did you meet Terry?
We were introduced by a common friend who knew us both extremely well and was right in saying that she thought this would be a good match, and it was.
And you and Terry have a daughter?
My daughter Maya goes to Kenyon College. She's going to be returning to school tomorrow as a senior and editor of the newspaper.
And you also have a love for opera. You were trying to help the New York City Opera, right?
Well, New York City Opera collapsed, and a lot of people were distraught and thought maybe they could do something about it, and they didn't. And I realized that in those days their budget was so small that, in fact, it was a smaller business than my own, unfortunately for them. And I thought maybe I could do something here, and I did try for a period of time, but ultimately realized it was beyond my grasp to do that.
So the kid from Queens, because even though you're born in the Bronx, you're a Queens person, has truly changed the architecture and the scenes of the city of New York. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much, Michael. My pleasure.